Let's see. Women complains wealthy boyfriend won't marry me. Jesus Christ. Here, let's see why he's going to take this random story and try and extrapolate it to all people.
Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over an article where a woman shares her story about how she can't get her wealthy boyfriend to marry her. And she goes into her story and talks about the situation with him, where basically she's in a very good relationship. She's very happy, they have a good time together, all that. But she wants that goddamn ring on her finger. And this guy, as it turns out, he's an extremely successful young guy. She says how he started a company when he was 23 years old, and then over the course of a few years, he got to the point that he's making millions of dollars a year. And of course, she's benefiting from all this in terms of all the fun vacations and great lifestyle and all that, and it's all great.
You ever notice these guys seem to be super bitter about the fact that relationships entail spending time with someone they care about? It always seems weird to me. Like, why do you want to be in a relationship in the first place if, like, this all sounds awful to you? It sounds so strange.
Like I said, she wants that ring. And it's frustrating her and driving her crazy because he won't do that. This guy, she describes him as very protective of his money. And it's amazing because this guy, he has wisdom well beyond...
Why does he film in a car? Honestly, I think it's because they recognize, and this is true, if you're getting into YouTube or something and you just want to make videos where you're, like, vlogging, a car is a very controlled space that you can control the audio in very well. So, like, if you're in a car, it's a small enclosed space, you're not going to get echoes, you're going to be close to the camera, you're going to be able to control noise around you if you're in, like, a garage or parked in your driveway. I get it, theoretically, but once you're at the level of this guy where he's got almost 40,000 subscribers and he's getting, you know, way more than that in views, it seems like you should be able to get a little studio together. Like, this isn't anything complicated. I have some sound foam on the wall and in the corners. I have a light up here. Like, it's not complicated. I honestly need some, like, front-facing lights right here to illuminate my face. But
and you're going to see this through the article. And this guy definitely gets it. Maybe he had a great mentor. Maybe he's been watching, you know, great channels on YouTube, read a lot of great books, understanding female nature. Who knows? But this guy, he's got it going on. And guys, you're going to take two things away from this video. I want you to pay attention to two things. First thing, as I said, women want that goddamn ring on their finger. Okay?
Why are you applying this to every woman? There are plenty of women who don't want to get married, the same as men. Not everyone wants to get into a marriage. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
No ifs, ands, or buts about that. And it's for multiple reasons. One, obviously, has to do with status. Okay? Status is important to women. I mean...
What? Why are you assuming, again, all these MGTOW guys, because they view women as sexual objects, think that women view them the same way, but instead of sexual objects, they think they view men as status objects or wealth objects or something like that. No! Is it really that foreign of a concept to you that someone might want to care about you as a person and be in a relationship with you, a committed relationship even that might entail marriage? Like, why are you always looking for these ulterior motives? Why are you incapable of understanding why a human being might want to be in a marriage with someone else? It's very strange.
At the end of the day, any good-looking woman, she could get guys lining up 3 city blocks to sleep with her. But to get a guy to actually commit to her, to want to marry her, that's a different ballgame. And let alone the type of guy she wants to marry her, to commit to her.
Joker Moo says, I'm confused. Is marriage a good thing or not? I'm getting conflicting messages. Marriage can be a great thing if it's something that you want to get into with your partner and that's something you both think is beneficial to you. But society can also, and often has, pushed people into marriage when it wasn't necessarily something that they wanted to do, but they felt that it was compulsory as part of your life. You know, you grow up, you go to school, you get married, you have kids, you work, you retire, you know what I mean? The traditional, like, what you would consider the nuclear family and stuff. People who want those things, that's fantastic and good for them, and if that's something that they want to commit their lives to, awesome. But making it compulsory for everyone is unhealthy, so that's the issue.
And also, guys, it's also about the attention, her special magical day, and I'm being sarcastic with that. She gets to be the bride,
The wedding's for you too. It's a fun party. Hang out with your friends. Enjoy a ceremony together and then go to a reception and hang out with your friends. I don't understand this attitude of like, no. It's both of yours day. Enjoy it. Have a say in it. Why are you assuming the wedding is not for you as well?
The dress, the center of attention, all that. They want that. Now, okay, there are some that may not, but by and large, most women want that. And the other reason is, for the obvious, security. That guarantee that once that ring's on that goddamn finger, she's got the guy, okay? She now has access to his resources, and she's locked in. And as we know, it's a much better, favorable environment for women compared to men.
That would depend entirely upon the arrangement that you have made before marriage. If you want to get a prenup that says you leave the marriage with what you come into it with, that's your business. That's between you and the person that you're with. But understandably, especially with people like this who view weddings and marriages in a very traditional light, where they think that men should go to work and women should, stay at home and take care of the kids or whatever, you need to understand that within that framework, if you are going to have a woman leave or you are going to leave a woman, it kind of leaves her in a shit situation where she can't support herself, which is where alimony and child support come in. Now, I think these are good things in either direction. If you happen to be a single dad and you get the kids, which unfortunately doesn't necessarily happen even in situations sometimes where the father would be the better choice, because a lot of judges are older dudes who look at roles in relationships as very gendered and view women as caregivers, and I do think that it's something that needs to be worked upon. But, just saying that, the deck is stacked against you because you have to pay child support completely misses the point of child support and alimony. These are things that exist for a reason. If you're in a relationship with someone and you agree that, I'll go to work and you stay at home with the kids, right? Then you've gotten into a contract together, verbal or otherwise, that says that that's the division of labor. And if the relationship ends, then the person who wasn't doing the financial part of the relationship is now out in the cold in terms of being able to support themselves. So that's where alimony comes in. Okay? Pretty simple. Divinormous, thanks for following.
The second thing I want you to take away from this article, and you're not going to hear me say this very often, is that in this particular situation, when I read her story, you're going to see that she really respects this dude. She really admires him, and you can tell by the way she writes. And I've told you guys time and time again, women are drawn to and attracted to and respect guys that they perceive as being higher status than them.
You have no evidence for that. You need to stop talking about all women as if they're this homogenous group of people. There are 4 billion women on the planet, just like there are around 4 billion men. You shouldn't paint either as all one thing or all the other. It's not helpful.
Not just making more money, but higher status. These are obviously guys that are business owners, executives, obviously celebrities and things like that. The top percent of men, and of course, the high earners. And you're going to see the way she describes him. Guys, for those of you that are into dating and relationships, because I know there's plenty of you that watch this channel, the way she talks about him, and you can see respects him, which is rare, this is what you want. If you're going to do that, this is what you want. Why would you want a relationship where the woman you're dating or an exclusive relationship kind of sees you as settling? That sucks.
Why are you assuming that that's the case? Again, for one thing, you're applying generic ideas like status to yourself and other men when these things are completely subjective in the first place, and you're assuming that if a woman happens to get with you and you are below her in whatever scale you're deciding this status means, you're assuming that she's settling and feels meh about you, when in actuality she may just love you as a person. The fact that you might make less money than her or come from a different social circle than her, if she loves you and cares about you as a person, why does it matter? Don't let your insecurity get in the way of a relationship with someone you care about. Very strange.
But you want one that really respects you, admires you, because she's going to see you different. she's going to treat you different, and she sure as hell is going to fuck you different compared to just some average dude she settled with. Okay? So pay attention to that. And that's why I'm on you guys all the time about improving yourselves and your lives so that you can have a better quality of life. You know, the higher status you are, the more money you make, you can enjoy life better, and it gives you freedom. That's so important. Believe me on this, okay? But also, for those of you guys that date and want relationships, a byproduct of that success and ambition and drive is going to improve your options and the quality of women in terms of looks and body type and attitude and all that. And you'll have a much better, you'll be treated so much better. And that's what you want. Because again, why would you want to settle with somebody that could take or leave you? That sucks. Life is short. So I'm going to go through your article here. I want you to pay attention to both those things. It's a very good story. So the title of the article is Long-Term Wealthy Boyfriend Doesn't Want to Marry. She starts off saying, my boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years, and we are very happy. The problem is, anytime marriage comes up, he states he doesn't want to get married under any circumstances.
Okay. My suggestion to that person is, if that's a deal breaker, then you need to break up, because some people just don't want to get married, men and women. That's not unheard of, especially in this day and age. If someone doesn't want to get married, it's fine. But if that's a deal breaker for you, then you need to accept that. Because if you try and convince them otherwise, then you're just sort of coercing them into a situation they don't want. And that's not good.
Smart man. Citing that the risk of divorce and its financial downfalls isn't enough to outweigh the very small positives of marriage.
Then get a prenup. What?
He is 30 and started a business at 23 and 26, which has made him incredibly successful, earning over $5 million per year, but he is also very protective of his money. Well, I salute this guy for being so successful early in life. That is awesome. I am 27 and also make good money. And she says in parentheses, $90,000 a year. That's really good. 27 years old, that's really good. And have always dreamed of the classic American life of getting married and having kids and the white picket fence. It is amazing how that fantasy, which she described, is sold so well to the masses. It's all nice in movie and TV, but in real life, it's not quite the same.
Look, again, if you don't want to get married, then don't get married. That's fine. I agree that society sort of pushes this idea of, like, idealist, like, heteronormative nuclear family. I get that. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that people who do get into that are, like, part of a sham and that it's always going to fall apart, right? Plenty of people are married and they, like, love it and they love their significant other and it works out fine. Like, do you not know any happily married people? That's kind of depressing.
He is the most amazing guy I've ever known. We never fight, even about this sore subject, and loves me unconditionally. So what's the problem? She admires him. You can see it right here. She says he's amazing. They hardly ever fight. He loves her unconditionally. She says they're very happy. But she still wants that goddamn ring, right?
Okay, this particular woman feels that marriage is important for some reason, and that's her business. And I would say, again, if she genuinely feels this is a deal breaker, then they should probably split up, because clearly he doesn't want to get married, and she does. But that has nothing to do with this weird MGTOW bullshit, right? Like, plenty of people don't want to get married. It's not about some, like, grand desire of women to, like, trap men into giving them alimony or something. No, you're applying this, like, brush that paints everyone in a specific way that you're seeing the people within this article, and it's ridiculous. People do not behave like this. You don't get to take one story that you've read and then apply the logic you've applied to that story to everyone else.
Right. He has stated every time we talk that he wants to live with me, have kids with me, wants us to be together forever, and set up our will and testament, insurance policies, health care, power of attorney, etc., in the same regards as if we were married. This sounds great. What's the problem? Well, we know the problem.
The problem is that one person in the relationship wants to get married and the other doesn't. And again, that's something that they should maybe discuss. And again, if it's something that's a sticking point for her, they probably need to break up because it's clear they have different goals and things that they want in a relationship, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that, again, women are in some sort of conspiracy where they all want to secretly trap men into marriage.
It isn't 100% guaranteed. It isn't 100% insured. This dude who makes millions of dollars a year, has all these things, if she screws up, if she pisses him off, she's out of there. But with that goddamn ring, then she has insurance. Goes on to say, and this is great, there is no common law marriages in our state. I would like to know what state that is. The lawyer...
You could Google what states do and don't have common law marriage. Common law marriage. By state. Do-do-do-do, States that recognize common law marriage are in red, states that with limited, and then the gray are not. So basically, he's like, I want to know what state that is. Most states don't recognize common law marriage. So, what are you talking about? Common law marriage, for those of you who don't know, is basically if you live with someone for a long enough period of time, you could be considered de facto married, and if you split up, then the assets could still get split as if you were married legally. Ask Compu. Yes, because wanting to give someone the boot because they make any mistake or do anything you don't like is completely normal behavior. Yeah, that's called financial abuse. It's a thing.
The lawyers he uses are his friends.
How long do I think I'll be streaming? Maybe for another hour or two.
And they agree in his scenario he shouldn't get married, as a divorce would certainly hurt his retirement, businesses, and money. They even say a marriage is essentially a shortcut legal contract that is a catch-all for courts to help sort issues out, and removing that option protects an individual immensely.
Yeah, if you're in a relationship with someone and you're helping support them, and I'm talking about in both directions, things like marriage can help to cover in case the relationship ends, to ensure that assets that were worked on together, whether by direct work with a company or by supporting the person who is working for the company, to ensure that the assets are split equitably. That doesn't mean equally, but equitably.
He's very smart. He's listening to his lawyer friends. Guys, remember I've told you about choosing your friends carefully? You want to have friends in your inner circle, even if it's a couple guys, that have your back, that will tell you how it is, even if you don't like it, that back you, support you, all that. If they didn't give a shit about him, or if they were secretly envious, they could say, yeah, go ahead, get married, because they know what would happen. No, these guys had this dude's back. That's awesome. That's what your brothers, your good friends, should be. This guy's got it made. She says here, and listen to this part, guys. She says, my sister, on the other hand, hates the idea and has told me dozens of times to issue an ultimatum. And if he doesn't agree to marry me, to move on.
No good marriage has ever started with an ultimatum. That's a bad call. If you are in the situation where your significant other doesn't want to get married and you're like, well, I'm going to issue an ultimatum, either marry me or it's going to end, like, don't do that. Not good. If marriage is not on the table for them and it's something you want and it's a deal breaker, then you probably just shouldn't be together.
There you go. So she's got her sister trying to manipulate the situation. She's happy as can be, great life, all these great things. Guy loves her unconditionally, wants to have kids, the whole 9 yards. But her sister is on her to say, give an ultimatum. And what do you want to bet that sister knows darn well this guy, given his success, what he has, and no doubt that he probably can get any chick he wants. I mean, not movie stars, but damn good looking women all over the world. She knows that if her sister gives him an ultimatum, that guy's going to be like, see ya. And probably is jealous of this woman of catching a guy like this. I'm willing to bet.
What? The sister probably just, like, is too into this, like, weird traditional idea that marriage is this whole, like, necessary thing, and, like, giving an ultimatum they think is a good idea. That's bad enough as it is. Why are you assuming that the sister is conniving and trying to get her to give an ultimatum so the guy breaks up with her because she's jealous of her sister? What? That's insanity.
Bet that plays a factor here. Hang on a second, guys. I hesitated this because I don't want to lose this man just because I can't introduce him as my husband or the state doesn't recognize us as such. He is very principled and strong-willed too. Very calm and never raises his voice. I know exactly how it would play out if I issued...
Jesus Christ, are the straights okay? What does it say when you're like, oh, my boyfriend's great. He doesn't scream at me at all. That's a quality you feel the need to bring up. Jesus Christ.
An ultimatum. Listen to this. He would be upset, but tell me he loves me and hopes I will find what I'm looking for. In other words, in a way that's not harmful or nasty, okay, see ya. Right? Because this guy is not going to budge. His success, his wealth, and he's not compromising for anything. And what have I told you guys about how women love a challenge? This dude is a challenge. He's not a dick to her, treats her well, all that. But she knows his word is law. And she can't change him. He is a challenge. And women like the challenge. And you can see by what I'm writing here, this girl respects the hell out of this guy, admires this guy. And she knows instinctively, if she gives him an ultimatum nicely, she's out of there. And that's the position you guys want to be in. To have them know that if they screw up, you can replace them. They're going to treat you a hell of a lot better. They're going to be on their best behavior. There are going to be some of you listening to me right now that aren't going to like what I'm saying. I'm going to get a lot of insults, I know it. But at the end of the day, it actually does work both ways. Because if you are in a relationship, man and woman, man and man, woman and woman, whatever it happens to be, if you know that the other person can pick up and leave at any time, both of you are going to do your best to make it work.
Gross.
Be loving, supportive, helpful. Take care of yourselves physically. You're not going to get fat and out of shape because the other
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
person is going to lose attraction. You're going to try harder. You're going to make it work. But once you're locked into a marriage, as I'm sure many of you know darn well, that incentive to be the best version of yourself goes out the door. People stop taking care of themselves physically. They get fat and out of shape. They stop making the effort to date. A lot of the women certainly stop sleeping with the guy. That's a very
Devious Chilster with 50 bits. God, I've never met a person who unironically says my word is law without them being the biggest asshole. Yeah.
very common thing. Lots of things. People are better off not married, in a relationship if that's what they want to do, and go from there. See how happy she is. Do you think that she's going to be the same towards him once a ring's on her finger? I think not.
Why do you assume that women are all, like, pretending to be nice until they get married? What? Again, this implication that under the surface, women are all these conniving people who are trying to trap men into marriages is so fucking bizarre.
She goes on, I completely understand where he is coming from, and I admit that the actual difference between being married and lifetime boyfriend and girlfriend is mostly paperwork. But am I crazy to think I would be unfulfilled without that paperwork? Well, this is going to depend on her, but society has brainwashed people that they got to get married and do all that for happiness. And guess what? There ain't no happiness. Occasionally you have a couple that's married.
Why is that what you're No, look, I agree that society unfortunately tries to push certain, like, normative behavior onto people, and that, like, oh, you need to do this, 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 and this in your life. You need to get married and have a kid and have grandkids and retire, and these are the things you need to do to have a successful life. I agree. But your solution should not be, guess what? No one's ever happy. No. There are many ways to be happy. You could get married and be happy. You can just date for your entire lives and be happy. You can be single and be happy. Whatever makes you happy. But why is this misanthropic worldview of everything is shit somehow what you think is the reasonable, rational position? It's not. It's not. That's depression talking.
And they're happy, but it's rare. I have a couple friends that are like that. My parents were like that, but it's rare. And it's just a different world out there right now. He states he will do everything that I want, including buying me a ring, throwing a wedding type of event, with a dress and the whole ordeal. Honeymoon, everything. Even saying we can choose to tell people we are married if it makes me feel better. But insisting marriage is off the table for him. See, this guy's doing everything not in a way that he's a doormat or pushover. He's doing all these things because he obviously cares about her and knows it's important to her. But he ain't marrying her. He has asked me if there is anything in marriage besides a title that he could provide for me as a boyfriend, and honestly, I can't think of anything. Well, she's not going to say that ring on my finger means that I got that insurance, that you're not going to kick me to the curb when I start getting wrinkles and my boobs start sagging.
If that's literally a concern you have, you shouldn't be in that relationship in the first place. And no, she literally just said she can't think of any reason, so she's not going to this, again, misanthropic place where you just assume that everyone considers relationships this transactional, cynical thing where, like, men are trying to bang someone and women are trying to, like, steal someone's resources. It's so fucked up. This is not how relationships work. People are not this simplistic and evil.
But she's not going to say that. Some of you may not like what I just said, but I'm being honest here. Lastly, while I know he is trying to protect his money, he does spoil me and does spend a lot on me, us, and makes me feel very secure. We take several major trips a year to Europe and elsewhere, always first class. He has bought me a very nice car, flown my family and friends to visit several times, and us to visit them. So not only is he doing all these nice things for her, he's doing it for her family. And I'm willing to bet you her sister, who earlier in the article telling to give him an ultimatum, she's probably gone on some of these trips. And she is jealous as hell of her sister. Hence, give him the ultimatum.
You have absolutely no evidence of that. Why are you assuming that her sister is this Machiavellian figure standing in the shadows like, doing a fucking Iago from Othello, standing in the corner somewhere, monologuing about how, actually, I am the puppet master. I will destroy the relationship because I am unhappy. No, that's ridiculous, man.
Goes on to say, he gives significant gifts for birthdays, Valentine's Day, Christmas, and pays for everything in our lives, from groceries, gas, to my shopping trips. He pays my credit cards, student loans, and has taught me a lot about money, and also protects me financially, as well, making me put 50% of my income in my own retirement account. This shows you right there how much she sees this guy as an alpha, and how much respect she has. When this guy can make her put 50% of her money, her after-tax income, in retirement.
That's a nice thing to do. It's not some... Okay, for one thing, I've talked about this before. The whole alpha-beta thing is entirely based on junk science about wolf packs that has been completely discredited. Secondly, the fact that she is capable of putting 50% of her funds into retirement every paycheck is amazing, and probably due to the fact that they share, you know, bills and stuff, and that's great. That has nothing to do with, like, respect or whatever. It has to do with the fact that, like, they're taking care of each other, and he's saying, like, hey, for the future, put away this much money. That's good. What are you talking about?
Believe me, women love to spend money. And so a guy trying to tell her you will save money, good luck there. Now, yes, he spends money on her, but I guarantee you, when they take all these great trips and everything, restaurants and trips all over the world, he's doing it because it's something he enjoys, and he's bringing her along with him for the ride. Okay?
What? Why do you assume they don't both enjoy this? Again, these people project their shitty personalities onto everyone else in the world. So this guy presumably has been in relationships before, and it seems like he doesn't seem particularly engaged in the relationships he's been in. He probably doesn't care about a significant other. He probably doesn't care about the women he's been with. So he assumes that every other man must function the same way. He has to assume that every other man views their girlfriend as some object that's there and they have to put up with. Otherwise, he'd have to admit to himself, oh no, I'm a shitty person. Right? No. Look, strong, successful male guy. I don't know your actual name. Most people do not view relationships like this. People are not in relationships transactionally. They're in relationships because they care about the people that they are in that relationship with and enjoy spending time with them. Trey McGee1, thanks for following. The fact that you view relationships as this ordeal where you need to spend time with your significant other says you just don't like the people you've been dating. Or maybe you're gay. I don't know. But like, people enjoy spending time with their significant other. That's one of the reasons you get into a relationship, is because you want companionship with someone you're compatible with. Like, Baja Blast has been staying here because of COVID for months and months and months. And I love spending time with her. She's amazing. Like, what? Why do you not like being in relationships, guy? Very strange.
He's just not doing it probably just to make her happy. Again, she's got a hell of a nice life. So what the hell's the problem? But we know. He certainly spends well over my $90K income on me/us per year. So he isn't shortchanging me there. And it finishes up with her asking the question, am I overreacting? Does anyone have experience with not marrying and just being partners for life, regardless of what others say? Should I be okay with the situation and stop worrying about semantics or labels? Well, I'm going to guess she's probably directing that question to women, and she shouldn't trust women because a lot of women reading it would probably say, no, you should do an ultimatum because they'd be jealous that they don't have these nice things.
Again, assuming that women's motivation is entirely based on jealousy and these Machiavellian schemes in which they try and break up relationships they're jealous of. What?
But I would tell her to stay with the guy. Treat him great. Treat him great. Love him. Support him, all that. And this guy will probably stay with you to the day he dies. And you can enjoy that life. End of story. If she doesn't treat him great, she starts having an attitude and getting bitchy, she's out of there. But this probably is going to end in one of two ways. Either A, she'll accept the fact that she can have this great life, they're not going to get married, and she'll continue to try to like nudge him along, she'll probably bring it up from time to time, but ultimately submit, have a great life, but always have that little challenge in place. And he'll probably treat her great and she'll enjoy a nice life. Or two, eventually she'll wear him down, he'll cave, and what's going to happen? The second that ring is on that finger, things will change. Even though she may not think that way, even though she may not feel that way, guaranteed, because plenty of you guys out there been married know this, it will change. Just like that. So, but anyhow, guys, thought this was a good thing to go over. Again, you see how important that ring is on the finger, being the bride. We know darn well it's about that day, the center of attention, but also the insurance, the security. And the other thing, like I said, guys, you can see through this article just how her description of him, how she admires him, respects him. That's what you guys want. So for you guys, again, that are dating in relationships, don't get involved with a woman that makes a lot more money than you, has higher status than you. Not because you should feel insecure of her success or money, but because you know darn well if you are a higher status than her and you make more money than her, she is going to treat you better. She's going to...
No! What are you talking about? Like, for what? No! Why do you assume that, again, this is all transactional and that someone can't respect you as a human being if you don't make more money than them? Does that mean you don't respect your significant other if they make less money than you? Because clearly in a relationship, someone has to have more money than the other person. What?
To respect you more. Because I've done countless articles that show what
Tarragona,
happens
thanks for following.
when the woman makes far more money than the guy, higher position than the guy. The way they treat him is not the same. Okay? And again, if you guys, relationships, dating, all that, you want the woman you're dating or in a relationship with to treat you and see you the way this woman sees this guy. Okay? Life's short. You don't need someone that just has an attitude about you. Okay? So, what I say, what I talk about may not be popular with a lot of people, but I'm keeping it real here.
No, it's not because you're keeping it real. It's because you have a really misanthropic view of the world. And I'm sorry, I keep using that word a lot today. But that's how these people are. MGTOWs and incels and red pillars tend to have a very cynical, misanthropic view of the world in which everyone is as cynical and like, selfish as they are. And it's so fucked.
I'm not giving any bullshit. Again, I've had 42 years on this planet. I've experienced a hell of a lot more than I have let out in my videos. And I know what other people have experienced, heard countless stories. So I'm going to tell you the truth. So some people may not like it. And if you don't like it, hey, plenty of other channels that you can go bitch at and carry on about, because I'm going to keep saying.
True. We've seen many of them today. Let's do some kind of cleanse. Let's see if there's an interesting, funny video or something we can find.